Shalom and welcome to Challenging Torah. Our challenge this week comes from Har Sinai, the portion Behar. God speaks to Moses from Sinai and says, "When you come into the land that I assign to you, you shall observe a Shabbat for the land, a Shabbat of the Lord." A Shabbat for the land. It's enough for me to keep Shabbat. I am supposed to have a Shabbat for my land? What does my land do? Sing Shabbos psalms? No. The land rests as you rest, because God rested, the land rests. This is the ecology of our times. We have the same challenge 300, 400, 3,000, 4,000 years later. How do we use our resources so that they have a chance to rest, renew, and replenish? Your land must keep a Shabbat. God says it needs to be given a chance to rest. 6 years shall you work your fields and your vineyards, but in the 7th year, your field and your vineyard should have complete rest. What am I supposed to eat? If I can't eat in the 7th year because I didn't plant, and what about the next year where I'm starting new planting? And God says, I have given you this land to be a resident on it. Trust me, there will be enough. And so the land is to lie fallow, 1 out of every 7 years. And in that time, we are to cease from all of our planting and all of our gathering. Just rest. The earth has a rhythm. 6 plus 1, 6 plus 1, like we have a rhythm. If I miss Shabbat, I am out of balance. The earth is out of balance. And so we come to our land today, and are we out of balance? In this moment of great climate change, caused by humans or just the cycles of life, we are completely out of balance, and the earth, if it has a voice, is crying. Our oceans are filled with fish that we can't eat because of mercury. We have fracking destroying our soil if we don't do it properly. We have a polar ice cap that I can hear as the sound of the earth, as the sound of glaciers cracking. We have, open your newspaper this week, coffee beans are dying on the vine in the Yucatan, and the entire coffee industry is being wiped out because of climate change and then the pests that follow afterwards. The cycle has set in. If you do not take care of my land and give it its Sabbath, God says, the land will no longer be yours, and you will be expelled out of it. So how do we do this? We leave it 1 every 7 years. We leave it, and not only do we leave the land and not touch any of its produce, let it fall to the ground. The poor can pick it up. But every 7 years, we are to release all debts. But that's a mortgage. The mortgage is to be released. The money owed to you is to be released. And if you have acquired an indentured servant because one of your kinsmen could not handle their debts, that debt is considered complete at the end of the 7th year. Now, I can hear you. Oh, man, I can figure out ways to game that system. If I only lend him the money and God says, Al tanu, do not distress each other. Al tanu et haaretz, don't distress your land. Va'al tanu et achicha ve'et amitecha. Don't distress, destroy, annoy your fellow human being. Don't game the system. If it's going to be in year 6, understand what that's going to cost. Don't take advantage one of the other, any more than you take advantage of the land. And then, at 7 times 7 years, you are to sound the great shofar. And with the sound of the great shofar, the Jubilee is declared. At that moment, all bets are off, literally. Everyone goes back to their ancestral lands, which have been chosen in this system through a lottery, actually. and nobody gets to keep anything they've accumulated as far as agricultural land wealth. Under a system like this, there's no 1%. There can't be, because you can't hold your land more than 49 years if it's not your portion that has been pretty equally divided. You will not have hungry people, because you must take in the widow, the orphan, the stranger, and your kinsman. And all slaves are to be released. Proclaim liberty throughout the land and to all the inhabitants thereof, it says on the Liberty Bell. That comes from this portion. And so we look at this and we say, wow, that's pretty utopian. I mean, great idea, it doesn't work for us. On the other hand, we could use some guidance. And we look at this process and say that the goals of our American founding fathers are really quite different than the goals as outlined in the Torah. America's based on the fact that you can accumulate as much as you possibly can by working hard. That's your reward. And its excesses have led to some pretty unfair places. On the other hand, this Jewish text says, basically, the land, God says, is mine, and you are only residents and tenants on it. And as long as you follow my rules, it will be fine. But if you continue to do things like keep college students in debt until they're actually on Social Security, which is happening now, or keep people, because you did distress them and give them mortgages they couldn't possibly pay off, and keep them in debt for the rest of your life, God says there will be consequences. The earth is our Mother Earth, and this is Mother's Day. Let's take the moment to honor our Mother Earth. Think about giving Mother Earth a Shabbat, giving our mothers a Shabbat, and enjoying a Shabbat Shalom, to be continued next week.